Hi, this is Bob Moon,
This is Andres Petrosat.
and the house you're looking at, it was a house that we designed for your parents.
22 years ago, they decided that they wanted to have a retirement home that they could live in on one level and have a blast in. And they have enjoyed a long, long run here.
Yeah, the beautiful part of one of the things I love about this house is the way you enter it.
Hmm.
You know, like it's very quiet along the street, and then when you get here, there's a little that's on a cul-de-sac, and then when you pull into the cul-de-sac, you can pull. Then afterwards, you pull through a driveway into a little courtyard. So there are all these steps along the way to get here.
And there's this sense of when you walk up to the front door, you actually see through the whole house. And
Yeah,
there's a repeat version of courtyard, tree line, garden, and
yeah.
then bingo, here we are inside.
Yeah, we should talk about the site too, because the site was an interesting site because the way the house is built, it juts out right in the middle of all these trees. And it's just an extraordinary view, as you can see, because you're looking at right in the center of all these trees. So your view is really the center of all these beautiful trees down into the valley.
The nice thing about the lay of the land is that sloping downward allows access to grade on this side of the house at the upper level, and then the back and the side are open to grade at the lower level. So this house can duplicate its size like that.
Yeah. And the really beautiful thing about the windows is we have all these windows along here that are so private, you know? And then along the other side of the house where you can see other houses and where you enter, it's so private because there are just clear story windows above all of the storage. That's not storage, they're beautiful cabinets that is storage, but storage sounds so what? It's not storage. What would you call
It's
it?
millwork,
Millwork.
but the millwork eliminates the need for having to go up and down the steps to the basement.
Right.
And by privacy, you mean it's so private that you can have these windows and nobody can see in the house.
Right.
Whereas on the street side, there's a wall to give privacy, but the clear story wraps all the way around.
Bob, tell us about the rest of the house down this way with these sliding doors.
Down there, you can see sliding wall, and those walls were designed to create a second bedroom out of the den. And with minimal effort, all you have to do is slide the walls back and forth, and you get all different kinds of room configurations. So here, when no one's visiting, both sides can be open. And then when company comes, that's a whole nother story. And beyond there, there's two bedrooms and essentially two bathrooms.
So they're private 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Then the interesting story about that is we couldn't figure out exactly how they would be built until later on in the project. And we had Amish craftsmen working, and we said, let's have them build them. And my father came up with the idea of using masonite doors and masonite panels. And the Amish were like, well, why would you want your walls to slide? And all I said was pretend it's a barn door, and they were on it, and it worked very well.
The finish is really beautiful on them too.
Oh, automobile paint.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful finish, strong finish, and it's amazing that it's automobile paint. And I also like the tile. Where's that tile from again?
Oh, we got that in Venice. And the tile is a thick glass tile, and it's there, and it's also in the backsplashes. And the countertop over here, and all the stone in the house is from Mount Etna. We like to think that it reflected our mother's stormy temper at times. So she's she's remembered solidly in stone here. All the tile work is from the northwest area of Emilia-Romagna, where they make some of the best tile in the world. But the house is very simple. It's got Wrightian features, which you can talk about because Frank Lloyd Wright impacted the design. My parents were great enthusiasts of Frank Lloyd Wright. So as builders, they wanted to have something that was appropriate to this region.
Well, I mean, the clear story windows are a very Wrightian thing to make sure that all the spaces have light. The overhangs are really beautiful because they protect the house, but they also let in light where you want light and not light where you don't want light in. The long and continuous elements are very Wrightian as well. Why stop a window when you don't need to? right? Why not continue a cabinet that goes from cabinet work, cabinetry to kitchen? Those are all writing issues, concepts as well.
Also, modulation, strict modulation.
Yeah, yeah,
So everything's built on a grid. Everything's got a sense of rhythm, extended views, extended planes, and a heavy, good cap on all of it.
yeah. And very simple. That's the thing about this house, is it's so simple. It's so beautiful. It makes you appreciate the views. It makes you appreciate the materials. It's not complicated, but yet it's enveloping and comfortable. Something as simple as the foyer leading to all the other things, the garage and the laundry room and the powder room that's over here. It's really beautiful. The views that get extended through the house, that's also a very Wrightian thing.
Well, Wright tried to make the practical elegant,
Exactly.
and I hope we did too.
Yeah. I think you can't miss the basement too. The basement's like unfinished, but really huge and very useful.
Oh, there are schemes for future use of the basement. If a large family moves in, there's room for 3 bedrooms down there and another living room, and it all would borrow light from this area. And there are windows down there as well, and room for a couple of baths. What did I want to mention? One other thing. Oh, for my parents who wanted to live on one level, all the utilities are up here and under control. The main distribution panel is in the garage. There are shut-off valves in the laundry room where you can turn down all systems. No one ever needs to go downstairs.
Yeah. But truthfully speaking, I would love to live here. I mean, I think it's such a beautiful house for anyone. I mean, really, anybody could live in this house. There's so much room downstairs. The access to downstairs is a really cool staircase down. Anybody who wants to build another bedroom or 2 downstairs, or a study or anything downstairs, lots of light. This would be a great house for almost anyone. I just think it was a privilege to design, a privilege to work with you designing it. And because it has such love in it, such tender care, because it was for your parents, and has so many details in it that are beautifully worked. I think that it's an extraordinary house, really.
Well, and the tender loving care can move forward too. We've got ideas for the lower level, and if anyone is interested in us taking it to the next generation with the next generation, we'd be happy to do that.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
And thank you.